This is no ordinary island. It's the silent witness to some of the darkest files in modern history. The infamous crime island whose very name makes the sky feel a shade darker. For years, it served as the headquarters of federal investigations, and to this day, it remains a shadowy geographic pressure point discussed all around the world. But what about the others? Some are tropical paradises. Some are laboratories testing the future of smart cities. Some are quiet sanctuaries built by people trying to escape themselves. And some push the limits of luxury far beyond anything most of us will ever experience. Are you ready to dive into these hidden universes? Places most people will never get close to? A world where an entire island can belong to just one person. These islands may look like tiny dots on a map, but in reality, each one is a self-contained micro-universe. On some, million-dollar investments rise out of the ocean breeze. On others, stories of destruction and rebirth lie buried beneath the surface. Some hide secret libraries, spiritual rituals, pilot smart city projects, and whispered rumors of buried treasure. And others exist as private escape pods, created by owners trying to disappear from the world. This video is not an ordinary travel video. This is the geographic answer to a single question. What does one person's world actually look like? Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to 3.Discovery and turn on notifications, because your support is what allows me to keep taking you into the most hidden, most controversial, and most isolated places on Earth. Thank you in advance. Our first island is one that, in 2011, went up in flames in the middle of the Caribbean. A massive storm had ripped roofs apart. Lightning struck the island and guests were running in panic through the darkness. And then came the moment that made headlines around the world. Kate Winslet carrying Richard Branson's mother on her back, rescuing her from the fire. And from that dramatic night, rising out of its own ashes, stands one of the most famous private islands on Earth today, Necker Island. Sir Richard Branson bought this island for just $180,000, and today it's worth hundreds of millions. Powered by solar fields and wind turbines, home to exotic animal colonies, and designed as a tropical laboratory where luxury and sustainability work hand in hand. Weekly stays range between $100,000 and $450,000, making Necker a gathering place for Hollywood celebrities, tech billionaires, and some of the most influential people in the world. But what truly sets Necker Island apart is how it was completely redesigned after that night of destruction. Branson didn't just repair the island. He rebuilt it into something stronger, greener, and far more visionary. Today, with flamingos painting the sky pink and lemurs returning to their new habitat, this island represents something far beyond a tropical paradise. Strength can rise from destruction. And sometimes, an island is the purest reflection of its owner's imagination. And there's one quote from Richard Branson that perfectly sums up the spirit of this place. "I wasn't born lucky, but I've always been brave when it comes to taking risks." Our second island is a place where the line between magic and reality completely disappears. A world so mysterious, so sealed off, that whatever happens here is known only to its guests, while the rest of the world hears nothing but whispers. This is the secret Caribbean kingdom of illusionist David Copperfield, Musha Cay. Musha Cay isn't just one island. It's a private empire made up of 11 different islets. Spread across roughly 150 acres, this hidden world was designed for those ultra-wealthy few who want to disconnect from the planet entirely. And here's the astonishing part. The maximum number of guests allowed at one time is just 24 people. Yes, only 24. Nightly rates typically range between $40,000 and $60,000. But what guests pay for here is not luxury. It's experience. As Copperfield himself puts it, it's the chance to redesign reality. During their stay, guests encounter more than breathtaking beaches. They find personalized surprises crafted just for them. A treasure map left mysteriously on their pillow. A hidden island-wide scavenger hunt beginning at night. Or a cinematic experience staged exclusively for their group. Copperfield didn't just develop this island. He authored it. But what turned Musha K into a legend goes even deeper. Years ago, Copperfield said something in an interview that shook the world of treasure hunters. I discovered a real treasure near the island. He never explained what it was. That single sentence sparked years of speculation, research, theories, and wild debates. The island is also home to one of the most extraordinary private collections on Earth. Ancient alchemy manuscripts, rare books on the history of illusion, ritual texts, and artifacts tied to the origins of magic. Only a select handful of people have ever stepped inside this secret library. Today, Musha K is also a significant part of the Bahamian economy. It was built through the craftsmanship of hundreds of Bahamian workers, carpenters, stonemasons, gardeners, boat captains, and it continues to provide steady income to the region. This is not just a vacation island. This is a world breathing in the space between magic and reality. And Copperfield's own words capture the spirit of this place perfectly. You don't have to accept the limits of reality. You can redraw them. Our third island is a tropical giant hidden in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, one of the most expensive private island resorts in the world. But what makes this story special isn't the price tag. It's the man behind it. Dietrich Mateschitz, the founder of Red Bull, and his obsession with perfection. The story of Laukala Island doesn't begin with a purchase. It begins with something much stronger, a fixation. The moment Mateschitz first set foot on this island in Fiji, he became captivated. He wasn't looking for luxury or peace or a vacation. He was looking for something he could rebuild entirely according to his own vision, a world crafted from scratch. And that's exactly what Laukala became. Far more than an island, a fully designed alternate reality. After acquiring Laukala, Mateschitz transformed it into a vast open-air laboratory built to prove that sustainable architecture, organic farming, natural materials, and ultra-luxury can all exist in harmony. Today, nightly rates on Laukala range from $40,000 all the way up to $160,000. This isn't the kind of place you go to just because you can afford it. It's the kind of place you can't step foot on unless you're invited. Every vegetable, fruit, and spice used on the island is grown organically. Most of the restaurants serve food sourced directly from Laukala's own farms. A private airplane runway stretching toward the ocean, an underwater-themed restaurant, villas hidden inside the forest, and bungalows handcrafted from local materials. Every detail is a reflection of Mateschitz's obsession with precision, but the island's true secret lies in the forbidden zones that tourists can't access. These are sacred areas in Fijian culture, places believed to hold spiritual balance. Only trained ritual guardians are allowed to enter. No guest, regardless of status, can step foot there. Mateschitz's respect for these sacred zones earned him deep admiration from the local community, becoming a symbol of cultural harmony. Laukala also plays a massive role in Fiji's economy. It employs hundreds of people, strengthens the nation's global tourism profile, and is considered one of the world's most successful examples of sustainable luxury. Here, luxury doesn't replace nature. Luxury bows to it. And that's why Laukala is often called the world's most natural luxury. Dietrich Mateschitz once summed up his life philosophy with a single sentence: if life is going to be fulfilling, you have to create it yourself. And that's exactly what Laukala Island is, a physical version of the world he imagined. Our fourth island is a silent giant within the Hawaiian archipelago. A place that looks like an ordinary tropical paradise from the outside. But the truth is far more extraordinary, because this island belongs to one single person. And that person is one of the most controversial visionaries in the tech world, Larry Ellison. Lanai Island is the only major Hawaiian island that is 98% owned by a private individual. Yes, you heard that right. Not just an island, almost an entire community under the ownership of one man. When Ellison purchased Lanai for about $300 million, the world held its breath. Everyone wondered, what does a billionaire do with a whole island? Ellison's answer was bold and simple. I'm going to build a sustainable city of the future. And from that moment on, Lanai began transforming from the ground up. Today, the island runs on a self-sustaining ecosystem powered by vast solar fields, advanced water recycling systems, sensor-based smart agriculture, and energy efficiency algorithms that optimize themselves in real time. Most of these projects are never publicly announced. Many are quiet pilot programs tested behind the scenes. That's why the tech world has started calling Lanai the world's largest open-air R&D lab. As for hospitality, Lanai's 2 Four Seasons resorts represent some of the most luxurious accommodations on Earth. Nightly room rates range anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000, depending on the season and suite type. Its award-winning golf courses alone attract elite travelers from all over the globe. But the most intriguing part of Lanai lies in the silent zones, areas that tourists never get to see. Hidden within the island are experimental city models, AI-driven agricultural systems, energy networks that optimize themselves, and sensor grids that monitor water usage second by second. None of these are officially confirmed, but for years, the tech community has whispered the same sentence: the future is being tested here. Lanai also plays a major economic role for Hawaii. A large portion of the local population works on the island, new community projects have been launched, neighborhoods are being revitalized, and the island is steadily evolving into a model for sustainable living. Here, luxury isn't just decoration. It's the backdrop for a massive experiment in technology, sustainability, and human life. And Larry Ellison once said something that perfectly captures the spirit of Lanai. True innovation is simply having the courage to imagine things better. Today, Lanai stands as proof of exactly that. A living example of how one person's vision can reshape an entire island. Our fifth island is a place hidden deep within the Caribbean. A small Bahamian island that, from the outside, looks like nothing more than a quiet patch of turquoise water and white sand. But in reality, it's a map of escape. And the man who owns this escape route is one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, Johnny Depp. Depp discovered this island during the filming of Pirates of the Caribbean, when he fell in love with these very waters. He bought it for around $3.6 million, but for him, the island wasn't an investment. It was a sanctuary, a breathing space, a place to find silence in a life dominated by chaos. Little Hall's Pond Cay became the world Depp retreated to whenever fame, pressure, and media noise became overwhelming. Technology and electricity are kept minimal here. On this island, luxury isn't about expensive objects. It's about silence, nature, and isolation. Depp even named each beach after something deeply personal. One is named after his daughter, Lily Rose Beach. Another is inspired by one of his closest friends, Brando Beach. And of course, there's the legendary Jack Sparrow Beach. These aren't just labels. They're emotional fingerprints, each one tied to a defining moment in his life. Today, the island is valued in the multi-million-dollar range, and its operation provides steady employment for local Bahamian workers, making Little Hall's Pond Cay an important contributor to the region's economy. But what truly makes this island special isn't who owns it. It's what it represents. This may be the only place in Johnny Depp's world where his real self emerges, far from noise, headlines, and the relentless machinery of fame. Sometimes the wind speaks here. Sometimes the ocean does. And sometimes only pure silence fills the air. In an interview, Johnny Depp said something that captures the spirit of this island better than anything else. This is the only place where I remember how to breathe. And that sentence explains Little Hall's Pond Cay more clearly than any description ever could. More than an island. It's the place where a man rediscovers himself. And now, we arrive at what may be the most controversial island on the planet. A place wrapped in more questions than answers. A location forever tied to some of the darkest chapters in modern history. In the middle of Caribbean waters, surrounded by sunlight and silence, lies an island that looks like a tropical paradise from afar. But up close, became the center of years of federal investigations. Little St. James, known worldwide as Epstein Island. This island doesn't tell a story of luxury, vision, or escape like the others. Its story is one of secrecy, scandals, lawsuits, investigations, and a web of unresolved connections that continues to cast a shadow across the world. Jeffrey Epstein purchased Little St. James in 1998 for about $7.95 million. For years, it appeared to be nothing more than a private Caribbean estate. But after his arrest in 2019 and the investigations that followed, Little St. James was revealed to be a geographic pressure point that shook global headlines. Much of the activity on the island remained hidden for years. Flight logs, guest lists, security protocols, surveillance systems, staff reports, all became pieces of a massive investigation. To this day, many details of what actually happened on the island remain sealed from the public. And that uncertainty is exactly what made Little St. James one of the most debated locations in modern history. The island isn't known for its beauty, but for secret movements, closed-door activities, and its central role in an international legal and media firestorm. Even today, Little St. James remains a focal point of documentaries, newsrooms, online debates, and investigative journalism. As for its value, the island that Epstein bought for $7.95 million later drew interest from investors that pushed its estimated worth into the tens of millions. But this was never a traditional value increase story. Its value, ironically, comes from being a dark intersection in modern history. Where the other islands in our journey were stories of vision, sustainability, and architectural marvels, this one stands apart for a very different reason. Little St. James became a symbol of one of the largest scandals of our time. Jeffrey Epstein didn't leave behind many public personal quotes, but one line he repeated throughout his life was, "Knowledge is power. And perhaps the most haunting part of Little St. James is this. Too much knowledge about this island still hides in the shadows. And there you have it. 6 islands, 6 worlds, 6 different realities. Some born from vision, some from escape, and some shaped by the darkest pages of modern history. They may look small on a map, but each one carries a piece of its owner's soul. If you enjoyed this journey and want to keep exploring the hidden stories of the world, don't forget to subscribe to 3 Dot Discovery. There's so much more to uncover. See you in the next episode.